yet another episode of our Better Habits podcast, and we have a new guest today, another certified habit coach, Alberto. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
And usually at the beginning, I ask my guests to give just 1 minute presentation. You know, who you are, what you do, where you live, just a little bit.
Okay, I live in Italy, and this is important to know because you will hear that my English is a bit strange. I first of all, I'm a content creator that built businesses around content. I started with photography and sold courses and guides about photography in Italian. And then I started another business, which is still going, but that pivoted a couple of times. And currently we're trying to reach an audience of business owners and professionals who want to improve their productivity through digital tools like, I don't know, Notion, Zapier, Make, automating their business and so on. But a couple of years ago, I started publishing also in English, and I'm still finding my niche. But I mainly aim at content creators and mainly content creators who want to build a business like I did, and so yeah, I'm publishing on Medium. I had some clients on Coachdotme. I help them usually build habits, content creation habits. And they usually are coaches or small solopreneurs, usually, that want to fit the content creation within their schedule. Yeah, this is the 1 minute presentation.
Good, well done. And I was looking forward to this conversation to ask you all the questions because I am just like you, a coach and a content creator. And
Perfect.
I was impressed. I was reading your profile, I was reading your presentation and packages on the internet, and you said there that you create content for 13 years without a miss. And
yeah.
Wow. So let's start with a very broad question, but well, maybe not broad. Let's start with the question: what is the number one thing that helped you to stay consistent with content creation for 13 years and never miss a week?
Yeah, it may be disappointing for some people because I thought of it in the last years. In the last year, I think. Especially, it is purpose for me because first I started my first blog because I escaped from academia. I have a PhD in computer science, but the environment I lived in throughout my PhD was not. I didn't like it, and I learned I want to work for myself. I don't want to have anyone above me. It's hard for me. So I started my blog because I like teaching, and but I'm an introvert. So content for me is teaching at scale. I like creating it. Even if it doesn't get views, I don't like when something doesn't get views, but I still like the act of creating. And I want to build a business for an independent business, a solopreneur business. And so, yeah, content is the best way for me to build that business. So I just want to do it. And this kept me going.
Okay, good. So it's the purpose. Yeah, if I can kind of try to dig the gems out of your story, is the purpose. So it's how you communicate. You love teaching, and you share your ideas, but also the act. So you enjoy the act of doing it. So this
exactly.
is, I guess, two things, right? And both, again, from my own experience as a content creator and as a writer, because I wrote a book some time ago, you need to like the process.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There's a quote that I don't remember exactly that says, I like having written, but I don't like writing. I don't remember the author that said this, but sometimes it's a struggle. But I still like fighting with words, or when I record videos, maybe having to redo an introduction a few times and then finally get it right. Yeah, I like the process too, and I like the effect you can have on people, and thanks to the internet, they let you know when you help them. So yeah, it's both an intrinsic and an extrinsic motivation for me. Yeah.
Okay. Now, couple of things, couple of questions bubbled up for me. One, you said you don't like when things that you publish don't get views, or
Yeah.
likes or comments or whatever, and I understand. I think everyone shares that. So how do you deal with that, I guess?
So, yeah, first thing, the first thing is that I just want to let it. I just want to make it work. So yeah, this didn't go well. Well, just try another time. Then I've been in the industry long enough to know that sometimes a piece of content fails not because of you, but because of the algorithms, because at that time your readers had something else in mind. And I experienced it on myself, but I also heard it from a lot of creators. There are, on every platform you can find some top creator who has a huge audience, and they keep in their interviews, they keep confirming that they still, after years, can't predict when something will go viral or will fail. Obviously, their failures may be far better than yours when you have just a few followers. But yeah, I know it's part of the game. Yeah, over time, if you keep failing, okay, maybe there's something to be fixed.
Okay. So knowing the rules of the game helps. So kind of taking a broader perspective.
Yeah.
I think that helped me a lot, not focusing on individual piece of content that did well or didn't do well. Well, we're talking about those that didn't go well, but looking at the longer period, like, okay, I published for 1 month every day and nothing worked. Now then you ask the question, what's wrong with what I write or how I write or where I published, right? So the longer perspective gives more. And I think this is where, and at least this is my opinion, and maybe you agree or disagree with me, and this is where why most creators fail, because they just don't stay long enough to actually see the result, and they don't iterate or change things to find their own thing. Would you say so?
Yeah, patience is a. You read about being consistent and being patient so many times that you forget about it. But patience, I think for every major, for every important outcome achievement in your life, you need patience. Nothing meaningful comes quickly, and even when you Unfortunately, when you read about case studies about creators, success stories about creators, first of all, they focus on just a handful of creators when there are hundreds of thousands of them that make a living through their content but are not famous. You hear these few stories and they all seem overnight successes. When digging deeper, you see that usually they started creating when they were 10 and suddenly at 20.
Years ago.
Yeah. And overnight successes are very rare. Maybe there's an overnight success on a platform, but the same creator built a following or experience on another platform and then used everything on the new platform. And so this is misleading, and people get into content thinking, yeah, it's easy. You don't need skills, you don't need time, you don't need expertise. It's not true. It's true that there's leverage. So you can't be alone and get millions of views or get enough views to get you organic clients. That was not possible 10, 20 years ago. Yeah, that's true. But you still have to work and do good work and do quality work. And so there's two opposite truths, I think. You have to be patient, and at the same time, you don't have to be stubborn. That means you have to wait, but at the same time, keep upgrading your game. I mean, learning about the platform you're on, learning about your audience, learning new skills, maybe switching styles, formats, switching from text to video. I don't know. You still have that need to that fire that you need the doubt telling you, okay, maybe there's something better I can do, there's something more I can do, without agonizing over it, maybe. So often I feel that there are opposing forces that can pull you in the wrong direction, but you have to be in the middle, and there you find your optimal performance, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love what you're saying. And to that end, I think it's a challenging mental game. So
Absolutely.
exactly that's what you just been describing. You're pulled by different forces. You're pulled by self-doubt. You experience, is this the right way? So you experience
Absolutely.
doubt about yourself, about your content, about your abilities, and other mental challenges. How do you deal with them yourself, and maybe how do you help your clients to deal with them, because maybe they're the big stumbling block for people to stay consistent and to continue long enough to see the results, all these mental challenges.
Yeah, one thing that helped, I tend to underestimate my achievements, while I see many other people celebrating small achievements. I totally forgot. So I started a couple years ago. I started a simple Notion gallery where I started saving my small achievements. Even maybe I got a top writer tag on Medium and I saved it, or the first client, or some excellent comment on my articles. I started saving them, and just the act of saving them creates a space in my memory for them, which I usually didn't reserve to them. And this is one small things, but it helps. Then
100%. If I can just pause you here, I use it as well. I use it for myself and for my clients. I call it success journal. And I know we tend to think about success as something big, like getting a Nobel or an Oscar, but we have to start looking at success differently as a small wins and keeping this, success journal. I totally agree. It's a very useful tool and very easy tool to create and to use. A Notion, or just a notes, any note-taking app, just keeping those together and using it when you doubt yourself or when you want to kind of throw things away or stop doing things. So I think it's a great tool.
Then there's another thing I do that's far less practical, but it's just remembering that history repeats. So you are not the first one going through these challenges, and even before the web, the internet, social media apps, content creation, there were people that were, I don't know, speaking in public or publishing books. It has been, it has gone on like this for hundreds of years, and they, or maybe you can think of any kind of artist, not just business people, and they all shared common struggles. Even if you're just creating content to get clients, the creative act is shared. It has been shared through the history of humanity, and so remember this. You can read books, listen to interviews. I constantly listen to interviews and read books, and try to remember when, especially when people share the authentically what happens in the background, especially in their mind, when they, especially in the beginning, when they didn't have, for example, a financial cushion or some sort of insurance, they still weren't sure about their business or their content. They didn't have any kind of passive income. I try to extract that kind of information and remember it. And so, knowing that someone else went through the same thing as me and then succeeded, or how they succeeded, it helps. Obviously, I try to remember the same from my that kind of stories from my past. It's I don't know the reason why, but it's harder to keep to remember my own stories than other people's stories. And so I'm making an explicit effort to do it. I started recently to keeping track of my stories, to use them for my content, first of all, and then for my personal growth.
And maybe for your clients and for as you said, for your content, for your listeners, for your clients who have those struggles. No, I love it. And I love what you mentioned before, that we know about few known successes, right, in certain areas, but there are a lot of people in the same area doing well, not at the 1% or 0.01%, but there is a large group of people who doing just fine, and they enjoying what they're doing, and they went through that journey. So connecting to that group, I think is another useful tool, kind of getting inspiration from them and learning their stories, like you just said. Interviews is a great way, but finding those communities where you can actually have a chat, a conversation with people who are real, they, in the real conversation, they might be willing to share even more, their struggles, things that didn't go as planned. They might not be willing to tell in public. So I think this is another way. And to that end, what are communities? What are content creation or other communities are you part of?
The best communities where I joined recently were connected to a couple of challenges. So unfortunately, they started and they were closed after the challenge. But the challenge, which usually was 30 days long, the challenge was a strong motivator. So people were very active and very curious about what other people had to say. But then, I think let me have a look at my Discord because usually I found that paid communities are far better than free ones. And
Okay.
last Black Friday, I joined the Small Bets community by Daniel Vassallo. It's about small bets are small business ideas mainly, and so there you find a lot of people who are who want an independent life and try many different ideas, from freelancing to building small SaaS businesses. And there are a lot of people, they are all very active and they have something to share. It's a good community. Then I joined several Discord servers from Medium writers because I'm trying to focus on Medium, and so I found people that maybe need my help or that share the same struggle, so you feel less alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, free communities are usually less active, or if they are active, there's a lot of chit chat but not focused
Okay.
discussions, and they usually end up very, very quickly, so you can't carry on deeper conversations. I had I felt I had good conversation with I can call them middle class creators. For example, since I am on Medium, sometimes I contacted through on Twitter or X or on Substack, because people have both Medium and Substack profiles. A few writers, and they were very generous with their time, despite they have, I think, 10 times my followers. And it surprised me, and it was also useful because they are more successful, but they have more experience simply. And so I felt seen in a way. And it also was practically helpful. They maybe gave me feedback or some insider information. Yeah.
I want to share something that I use, maybe will be useful to our listeners. Maybe you have similar experience. When I was writing book, and I spent quite some time, about 3 years. It's kind of on and off, not constantly, but kind of on and off, and changing the idea, changing the style, and then finally when I got it. But there was a period where I was most productive and most kind of in a rhythm, where I was part of the mastermind. It was an organized mastermind. There were, I think, 5 of us in that group, and we had to write something every week and send it to the group, and then at least 2 people had to review it and get feedback to you, and we would meet every week. So it's kind of a book club, a book mastermind. Everyone was writing a book. I think it was a 3 months period, and it was the most productive I was, because I knew this accountability that I want to use this group because they were giving me great feedback. These are your kind of better readers, right? And I didn't want to miss this opportunity, and so I was producing a good piece every week. I don't know if you had that experience. So what do you think about this book masterminds, a book club, or like where everyone is writing a book?
Yeah, sharing the same, having a very focused and targeted, I think, mastermind or group in general, and maybe not too large.
Yeah, it was a
great
small
motivation.
group.
Yeah. At the same time, Ship 30 for 30 is this great
I took
course.
part. I took part.
Okay, I never did. I think their numbers are extremely large currently. I don't know the recently how many subscribers they had, but yeah, in general, when you have a specific shared goal, and maybe people at the same level, because I was part of a couple of writing courses, and we were sharing feedback, but some people didn't know how to leave feedback, and so they they just repeated what they listened in the course. It's not, it was not good feedback.
I guess it's the shared kind of value for any mastermind is who you have in the group is probably one of sharing the same goal, and then the second, the quality of people in the group. Not in a bad sense, but quality in terms of in relation to that topic.
Yeah, different people are at different levels. It's different if you already wrote a book or if you're writing your first book. It's inevitable.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's maybe get some couple of tips for our listeners, kind of nitty-gritty. If they want to write, maybe they're at the beginning still thinking, or maybe just starting. What do you do when you don't know? I want to write, but I don't know what to write about. So how do you find your topic? And I know it's a big question, but like, how do they start? Because I think you have a big group of people who like, well, I want to write, but what do I write about? And this is maybe this step from not writing to writing is holding them back.
So first of all, some people I worked with many people that wanted to write because they wanted clients, and this is not the right motivation. It's an end goal, but you have to forget about it when you are choosing your topic, because it will sound false, and also you will lose motivation very soon if you just choose topics that can sell in your mind, but you may end up not selling as well. I think that there's one, I think we are lucky now, because on almost any platform, what audiences want is authenticity, which, it's overused as a word, but it's
big
true.
Big word, but it's true. Yeah.
People don't want brands without a face, faceless brands, or they don't want, they read too many fake news, or maybe just doctored news that are not false but not true either. They want the real experience. They want the sample of one. They need a story they resonate with, and when resonating, they learn more. They remember more of what they learn. So this is lucky, I think, because often if you have a good, a strong story, a meaningful story for your readers, you don't even have to create such a great content. You may your writing may not be top at the top, or your content, your videos may not be so well polished, and you still help people, and so people like your content. This means that So first of all, there's less work if you find good stories from your life, and second, maybe it's easier to write, to start from your experience to decide what to write, instead of maybe doing keyword research or market research, and then still not finding what people want. So to someone who doesn't know what to write, I think the people from Ship 3430 have a couple good suggestions. They say to remember what to try remember what you learned in the last 2 years. You may go far back, maybe because you have better lessons from, I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So yeah, this is, I think, the greatest exercise. Remember, try listing your achievements, even smaller ones, or the moments something changed in your life, or yeah, the skills you acquired, not only on your job. Maybe you have a hobby that learned you a lot of things, and the soft skills you learned, I don't know, in relationships, and from those you may remember some stories that are very meaningful, that took you to that achievement, or showed you when you effectively learned that skill, and write about those. I had success on Medium. My best articles on Medium are all teaching something, but they start from my experience, and they mix the text goes from an episode in my life or something I did, and the lesson I can extract from it. And storytelling is a very hard skill, but forget about the skill. Just start thinking about what you did, what you learned, what you achieved, and see if you can extract a useful lesson for a potential audience. And the second step is find a platform, a channel, and a style that allows you to quickly share these stories. It may be short form text on LinkedIn or X. It may be short form video, 1 to 3 minutes on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok has a bad rap, but
yeah,
you have to use
and
what you
it's
have.
about to be closed in the US, so I don't think
Yeah.
that you want to do that.
We'll see. Yeah.
Maybe you go to Shorts or you go to Instagram Reels. I think they still
Absolutely. Then also X and LinkedIn are moving towards video,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, it's good examples. I guess the last kind of practical thing before we wrap up. So what do you do? So you start, or our listeners, so they start writing and they come up with the story, and then there come a day, because we say writing is a daily habit, right? If you really want to become a creator, this is your daily habit. You must write every day. Now, you might not publish every day, but the act of writing need to happen every day. Now, what do you do on the days when you don't want to write?
When you don't have time, or don't?
No, you don't want to. You don't want
I
to.
don't want.
What do you do on the days where I don't want to write?
So this is very hard for me because I always want to create content.
Wow.
So I just can't imagine that. But it depends. If you like every habit, if you force yourself for a few weeks, maybe a few months, at a certain point you get in the habit. Let me think. It's a well-known problem. So
Yes.
I thought of it several times. Let me summarize. One thing is just For some people, it works. There's some famous author who did this, created the conditions where you just can't do anything else. Maybe with pen and paper, or your PC with cold turkey or some other focusing app on. You just have to sit there for 30 minutes. You can write, or you can do nothing. This is one technique that some people used.
Yeah.
It's maybe a little harsh, a little strict, or otherwise you can say, okay, let's just write for 5 minutes. You literally start a timer for 5 minutes. And for that 5 minutes, you can do you can just write or nothing else. But 5 minutes, it's bearable, I think. Or you can add the social component, and for example, use FocusMate. I don't know if there are copycat apps where you just log in, find a focusing mate, and another random person who just wants to focus, and you start your webcam and have another person that keeps you accountable. You can do the same thing. There are many communities that do the writing hour for free. You just and you can feel, even if it's online, it's totally virtual. You feel the I don't know, the tailwind of the other writers that drags you on, or a change of environment, a physical environment. It's very useful. Maybe everyone knows it, but cafes work. If you go to a cafe with the constant chatter, maybe the smell even, or the light from the you need to choose a good a beautiful especially a beautiful cafe. The change of environment can work. The other thing maybe changing the state of your body. Maybe do a few jump the rope for a few times, or do some kettlebell swings if you're in the mood. When you start pumping, when your heart starts pumping, maybe you feel enough excitement to start writing. These are a few tips. I think one of them can work for any kind of person.
No, these are great. I want to add a couple of more that I use in addition. One is journaling. So it's a good one. So if you don't know what to write, and in the content that you're publishing, or in the book, or in the article, just open a journal and start writing. I don't know what to write. This is my favorite. So you don't, because you open the journal, like, okay, what do I write in the journal? I sometimes have this issue. And so I write, and I think it's from Julia Cameron. I can't remember, but from someone. It's not my invention. And you just start writing with your hand. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And then you can do it forever until you actually get so frustrated with it that and things other things start to come out out of you on the journal or on the piece that you're working. The other thing that also helps me a lot is walking. Like when my body is sitting, my mind racing. When my body is moving, my mind become quiet, and finally things start to, first it's like this crazy a lot of thoughts, and they're not, you cannot kind of get them. It's like, oh my god, have I done this, the to-do list, the calendar, the planning, like all the daily thing in the beginning of my walking. But then, and you need to walk pretty fast. I know some people use running, but I don't run. I walk. I walk very fast, kind of fast walking.
Okay.
And you have to breathe, and then my mind comes down. All the chatter is gone, all the kind of to-dos and the planning and worries gone, and then they become, oh, maybe I write, the ideas comes in, the ideas and interesting things. So these are two I
Yeah,
personally
and
use.
there's one very simple. I forgot about it earlier. That's reading or listening, consuming content. Probably after 20, 30 minutes, just appreciating the effort of another person creating the content, or maybe specifically something
Yeah.
you heard will inspire you to start.
Yeah.
writing.
I call it the research stage. Now you have to be careful
Yeah.
because the research can become a very nice
Balloon.
form of procrastination
Yeah.
unless you limit it. So important, like I love this and I use this. It's just important that you go into this research, what I call research, with the goal of finding your own ideas. And once they come, you stop the research and you quickly switch into the actually produce and not wait and consume too much, because if you consume too much, you're tired, your brain is tired, and
you consume your energy.
Yeah, but it's good, all good. All right, well, finishing up, how and one more, that I use is to use a buddy. It's just my friend. When I know I need to write something, I need to write an article, or I need to record a podcast, but it's hard to do by yourself. I just ask my friend saying, hey, can we book it? Can we book a specific time and put it on a calendar, and we just connect on Zoom and we just do it together. Well, I'm recording, she just there to support me, and I do the same for her. Or we just, as you said, we jump on Zoom and just
Work.
Everyone is working on their own. I work on my own thing and she works on her own thing. But using a friend, a buddy, who has similar kind of goals, maybe not the same, but willing to help you out, because when you put something on your calendar as an appointment, as a calendar event, chances are you're going to do it much higher. And you don't need to look for communities, which are great, but might be intimidating.
It takes long to find the right
so
community.
Don't use these things as excuse, like, I don't know where to find, who to find. Use your buddy, use a friend saying, hey, I need your help, and then, be willing to help them. So, and to that point, I think the next step is to have a coach. This is my kind of lead. This is my lead towards the coach, because when you have someone, like you on the other end, and that they will be asking you, hey, how is it going? How was your writing today? What did you write? Did you publish? Whatnot? Then I think this is a great opportunity. And with Coachdotme, obviously it's very cost effective and time effective, because it's chat-based coaching. You don't need to dedicate specific time. Your coach is there for you to support you on a daily basis, and this is very affordable and very convenient way. Maybe you can add a few words to that.
I find that the chat coaching format of Coachdotme is very powerful, and especially for this kind of daily habit, because the calls are helpful. The usual coaching calls are very helpful and transformative, but they are expensive, and you still may need support between the calls. So maybe if you don't have the money to pay for the calls, with a very small sum, you can have this chat support that also has the advantage of you can't deal with large problems in a chat. It's ineffective and confusing, and so long messages are hard to read, and also you lose all the points. So the better approach for the coach and also for the client is to split the problems and just focus on one small thing.
So it helps
every day.
It helps to focus. It helps to focus,
Yeah.
to keep the focus on the thing they're working on, and don't go around on the kind of sideways.
Yeah. It's I had a few clients on Coachdotme exactly for the content creation habit. Usually they also need help with the overall strategy, so it makes things a bit more complex than just getting into the habit of writing or creating video. But yeah, I try to keep it simple.
Yeah, but I think, totally agree that at some point, all, writers, content creators, at some point they will need to think about the process in a more deeper way. They will need to think about the strategy. But before all that, they need to get this writing habit of they need to come up with their own ritual. They need to come up with their own place, what's best work for them. They need to discover it, and the only way to discover it is by doing it every day. And that's where the chat-based coaching, I think, it works best, and can support you for a number of weeks and months before you have this habit established and set up and ready for the next step, which is come up with a strategy, think about bigger things and bigger issues. And that's where the calls are obviously are more appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alberto. There are links to Alberto's coach profile on Coachdotme and some packages that I think will be useful for those who would like to start the habit of writing or creating content, or struggle with consistency. Maybe you're already doing it, but you find it hard, and then jump in, get those packages, try it out for yourself. It's very safe, it's very affordable, and it's definitely a very effective way to continue your work.
And if you are not ready to pay for coaching, there's if you go to unstoppablecreator.com, I have a free email course that's to start build that consistency if you want to write or create videos. And then from there you also find the link to my Coach.me profile. So when the time is right, you can click on it.
Perfect. We'll put the link to this course, the free course there. Okay, well, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.